The Valkyries might be a little better than anticipated. They head into this game 3 matchup 11-point underdogs in the rematch already here against the Los Angeles Sparks. But the matchup was a little bit different. No Tiffany Hayes, the OG vet bucket getter, their leader, right? And so that's probably part of the point spread, as well as the fact that they're now in Los Angeles for this second matchup. But on the flip side, for the Sparks, they're without Rickea Jackson, still no Cameron Brink. But in the opener that lost to this Los Angeles team, Kelsey Plum went crazy. She dominated the game with 37 points. And so this was an opportunity for them to get their get back and for Nakase to show her coaching prowess. Like, what's the strategy? What are you going to do? Well, they put the veteran Thornton on Kelsey Plum. They blitz her on ball screens, and they took her out of the game. That was, I think atop the list of things to do, of priorities, and they executed that. That being said, without Rickea Jackson, without Cameron Brink, that's easier to do in this scenario, but they stepped up and they did that. Now, without Hayes starting, you get Van Loo starting in the backcourt for them. And, it's early. So you're going to hear me flip-flop on some of these takes because I'm learning these players as y'all are, as a lot of y'all are. I know some of you are more familiar with them. And after, the impressive opening game against the Sparks, Van Loo, she was 0 of 4, minus 16 in 17 minutes. So she didn't have an impact on this game. But again, that's what's so interesting, I think, about a brand new team, a brand new organization, because year to year with these teams, there's kind of already a pecking order. Even if we saw that Washington team the other night where, okay, it's a new team, there's still kind of a pecking order just because there's more established players. The team has been around. It's not a whole new team. There's just a lot of new players. Well, everything is new for the Valkyries. And so there is no pecking order. We're truly going to see an organic pecking order be established throughout the season. And that, to me, might be the most fascinating thing. And so is it Kayla Thornton, coming off a championship with the Liberty, playing 20 minutes off their bench, and she's been in the league 10, 12 years. Her along with Hayes are the vets. And so Thornton, she got the Plum assignment. And I want to acknowledge how well she did on that. But I think what you saw was she was kind of miscast last night. What was she? 1 of 9 for 3. And that's what you're going to see teams do with her in the corners and on the perimeter. They're going to dare her to shoot the 3, right? And she had 5 turnovers. The ball was in her hands. It found her too much. And I think because she has the most experience, the team kind of yielded to her a bit too much. But moving forward, again, as we establish an all-new pecking order, it doesn't have to be that way. That's what's fascinating about this season, along with them being competitive. Let's go to Carla Leite, 21-year-old out of France. Someone had pointed out to me, like, if she had played college basketball, she wouldn't even be old enough to be eligible for the W. That's how young she is, right? And you're seeing her confidence grow with each minute on the floor. She hardly speaks English. Did you see the post-game interview? So it's even more impressive. Some of this may be lost in translation because she is, as most young players, team defense, it's got to get better. She went under some screens, got caught with her hand down on their hot shooter early in the game. But, we have 3-4 French players on the team. So I think that there can be some translation there. But the confidence is growing. And she flashed not only a super quick step, but a much stronger, more confident handle than I initially saw with her. But again, the opportunity opened up without Hayes. She got downhill. She flashed a float game. She got all the way to the rim. Like, she has another gear in transition. And she not only is, the offense, I got a new desk chair, y'all. It's much more comfortable. But not only was the offense impressive and just her aggressiveness, I think we knew she was advertised as a shooter, but her willingness to get down into the paint and attack. But then all the scrappiness, the 50-50 balls, getting to the floor, putting her body on the line at her age in a new league, in a new country, super impressive. 19 points, led the Valkyrie, right? And then her French counterpart in Janelle Salaun. Again, I'm learning just as y'all go. I guess her brother's on the Hornets. He was a top 10 pick. The French are becoming a factory with basketball. And I had said in the last breakdown, like, she seems to have main character syndrome. And I don't syndrome's not the right word, but main character status. As the pecking order truly established, I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season, she's the go-to scorer, because there's a confidence, a swagger, a chippiness to her at 23 years old to go along with that size that's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem to handle. She was 4 of 8 from downtown. Now, her release, her trajectory, she shoots a flat shot, almost like Kawhi, Julius Randle, that type of straight line drive shot, but it still finds its way in the basket often. I think, from a player development standpoint, what I would like to see is for her not to cock it back so far behind her head. And you saw that was the change with Kawhi. When Kawhi took the leap into becoming just a master mid-range shooter and a much more efficient shooter, they moved the release from behind the head to in front of the head. And I think moving forward at some point, that could make her super efficient with the shot. But the swagger, the confidence, the size, right? And the other thing that I think we're going to have to see how she handles is, because she's so aggressive and she has such a quick trigger, teams are going to blitz and double team her. And towards the end of this game, they were sending 2 at her. How does she handle that? Because typically that type of player, a player that's instincts are to score and be that aggressive, they don't really want to give the ball up. And so we'll see how quickly she adapts to double teams. And I'm sure she's been double teamed, elsewhere, playing in the EuroLeague finals and all that. But I think that would be something I would circle to keep an eye on moving forward. But she might be, again, as they really establish this pecking order, I could see her being atop of it along with Leite, right? And you've got Birkins, the backcourt burglar. I'm sticking with that nickname. Just super strong and a nice player. Kate Martin, the lid finally came off for her. She hits 2 threes. And again, as things settle in here, you wonder if she plays some of that Thornton role in the sense of standing in the corner and when it gets swung to the second side. If she certainly, I think, is a more capable shooter. I don't know if she brings the physicality and defense that Thornton brings. And I think her presence is important. I think to a certain amount, right? There was too much of her with the ball last night. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? That the juice was worth the squeeze. She gets the 3 free throws in the corner there at the end, knocks all 3 of them down, and the Valkyries are 2-1 right now. And again, I think maybe more competitive than people expect with this European flavor, this international flavor. And if you're new to watching the women's game, the chemistry is so important. Like something that I'll point out, something that I had in my breakdown, and I will put my breakdown in the description here. I'll put it out for free. And I know some of y'all are like, "Oh, I don't care about this W stuff." And like, why aren't you covering the playoffs? Listen, this is additive. If you've paid attention to the pattern of my content, I tend to slow down in the summertime with the YouTube stuff. And this is simply all additive. I'm going to cover all the Warriors offseason stuff, all the summer league, the draft, and all that stuff. This is just additive because this is what I want to do. I'm excited about the team, and I know a lot of you are. But if you're not, that's fine. It's not taken away from any of the other content. But I will put the breakdown of this one. I think it's a really good one here for free in the description. And I'm giving you an example of this. Not that this was anything, but Nakase, she puts in late with like 5 seconds to go in the half, like as another shooter, another girl that can get off a quick shot. Van Loo pushes the ball up. Late's wide open, swing it to the weak side. She's holding her hands up for it, and Van Loo like chucks a contested running half-court shot. And Late's like, I'm wide open. I don't think there was anything of it. I think it's too early in the season. These girls are still getting to know each other. But my point is, in the women's game, in the girls' game, that stuff can add up more typically than in the men's game, where guys, right, men and women, we're so different. And that's one of the differences, is how well the team gets along, and the chemistry on and off the court matters more than in the NBA. And so I'm intrigued to see how that builds with this European influence, this international influence, right? And again, something that I'm not saying it's a problem, but I'm saying because everything is brand new and there is no true pecking order, right? Like if you're Thornton, you're Mo Billings, you're Tiffany Hayes, you go to any other of these teams, there's already like the main player, whether they're a good team or not. And there's already like the first best player and kind of the second best player, unless you become one of them, right? Here, that's not established. And as you can see, these young players coming over late and Salaun, like they're like, nah, I can be the one. Like I'm just as good as any of y'all. I'm not, there's no back down. And so to see again how the your first option, your second option, and all that is developed is going to be fascinating. And is there some more room for confusion in the roles because there haven't been any roles in the past, if that makes sense. But yeah, 2-1. They head out east to face the defending champion Liberty back-to-back games, I believe. And so that's even more important to why they needed to get these two wins here early, because hey, it's going to be a good measuring stick. And to me, I'll be happy if they're competitive games, because that's how good the Liberty are. Like they blow teams off the floor and they're dominant. And so if they can compete and the games are competitive, they have a shot in the fourth quarter. I think that will be impressive. I will be back tomorrow with a video on Kuminga and Kerr. And we'll talk about Moses and his thumb surgery. And then moving into next week, we'll start to talk more off-season stuff. There's a lot of targets. I've got some good ideas. Hopefully Mike Dunleavy's got some good ideas, right? But there's a lot of Warrior stuff to cover. If you're not interested in the W stuff, that's all right. But all I can ask is support the channel and give your boy a chance, because listen, this Valkyrie team, no one expects them to be a contender this year, but I think they're going to be more competitive than people think. And you know how Joe Lacob moves. You know how Lightyear moves. Like they've got plans to be aggressive. They've got a really good young coach, it appears, and you might as well get on board now before, don't be a bandwagoner, because I can promise you in a couple seasons, this Valkyrie team is going to be booming and they're going to be contending and everyone's going to be interested. As always, hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.